I want to tell a little bit of a story of when I was in the Marine Corps. We went to Thailand as a stop when we were in the Pacific Ocean. So we were on a ship in a troop carrier, which can fly off Marine Corps helicopters, Harriers, and we were a part of a helicopter unit. So we would stay on the ship. If something were to go down in the Pacific, we would hop on these helicopters and fly over to that location, jump out of the helicopters, and be ready to go. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wealthy Idiot Show. Today I want to do something a little bit different. So generally when people ask me questions, I might make a show out of it where I talk about the topic, but I don't really address that someone asked me a question, and that's what spurred on the conversation to begin with. But I want to start answering people's questions in the actual show format as opposed to just in the comments. We get questions on all kinds of social media platforms and in the comments of YouTube, or just in life, people will ask questions, and I want to start answering them. In that light, we started recently adding the ability to join our channel. If you have the $2.99 to join our channel, we would greatly appreciate if you joined as a member. If you don't, do not feel obligated to do so. But one of the things we want to give to those members is the ability to ask questions and have them answered in video form like this. And anyone will be able to see the video. We just want to be able to answer our members' questions first and foremost. Shout out to the first fan of our YouTube channel that I'm going to answer today, Sarah Shanahan. Sarah has been liking our videos and commenting and watching us for a while now, and she has earned her top fan badge in our comment section. And so I feel like it's fit that we answer her question here in the actual video format. So what she asked was, any thoughts on retirement in a country where the dollar is worth a ton? I think of it from time to time. So that's a good question, Sarah, and I think it's worth exploring. So I live in the Bay Area of California, which is one of the most expensive places on earth. In fact, let's take a look. Most expensive place on earth. So CNN reported the most expensive cities to live in 2022, and the San Francisco Bay Area made the 8th most expensive place to live on the entire planet. Howdy folks, Cowboy AJ here. I just want to interject real quick to let you know that we are giving away $500 to one of our first 10,000 subscribers. Right now, we're almost at 2,000 subscribers. Once we get to 10,000, we'll do an episode where we randomly select one of our subscribers to send them $500. Make sure you subscribe and don't miss out. Living here has definitely made me consider what I'm going to do at some point. I make pretty good money here, and there's a couple other obligations that are keeping me in this location, but I do regularly look at the possibility of moving elsewhere. If you followed me for a while, you'll know that I have real estate in Austin, and that's something that I've considered for a long time. My job would actually let me move to Austin, and I'd be able to maintain my same position with just a very slight pay cut. And that's something I've always thought about, because it gives me the opportunity to take what I've built here with a higher income and invested with a higher income, and it will go a lot further somewhere else. Now, in retirement, that could be even greater. So having considered that even further down the line, if I was to build a significant amount of wealth in a place where it's expensive to live with the plan of staying here, like as if my retirement will be able to sustain me here in this location, like the Bay Area, when I move somewhere else that's significantly cheaper, and I'm not really tied to anywhere because of a job, then that money will go a lot further, and I could live a lot fancier of a life with the dramatic drop in cost of living. In fact, I regularly check the prices of houses in other areas to see what would be comparable to the house I live in now. So the house I live in now is almost a $3 million house. I rent it. But if I was to buy an almost $3 million house somewhere else, like let's say Boise, Idaho, what could I be capable of getting? And I just look at some of these places and they are incredible. And it would be a lot of fun to be able to move there with the nest egg that I've built here. So I definitely have thought about moving to cheaper places. One of the places I often joke about with my wife is that we're going to move someday to Puerto Rico. Now, Puerto Rico has no federal income tax. It only has local taxes. And that's caused a lot of people to move to Puerto Rico because they can get a lot of income, especially if their job is not location centric. Like they don't have to be in a particular place. So a good one is YouTubers. YouTubers like Logan Paul have picked up and moved to Puerto Rico. Crypto influencers are moving to Puerto Rico. One of my inspirations, a gentleman named Peter Schiff, who runs a finance podcast. He also runs his own managed funds. I don't know if they're mutual funds or hedge funds or what they are, but he runs his own funds. He lives in Puerto Rico, and he's able to pay no capital gains when he's making moves on his investments. So I've also thought about that. What happens if I move to Puerto Rico in retirement? I've looked at houses there, and I could get something pretty amazing for what I've built here, and the fact that I could start cashing out a lot of my investments if I move to Puerto Rico without paying capital gains on it. That's pretty cool. So I always tease her about that. I'm not sure I can convince her to do it, but that would be a lot of fun. And lastly, I want to tell a little bit of a story of when I was in the Marine Corps. We went to Thailand as a stop when we were in the Pacific Ocean. So we were on a ship in a troop carrier, which can fly off Marine Corps helicopters, Harriers, and we were a part of a helicopter unit. So we would stay on the ship. If something were to go down in the Pacific, we would hop on these helicopters and fly over to that location, jump out of the helicopters, and be ready to go. One of the stops we made in order to resupply and everything was in Thailand. And in Thailand, I met this gentleman who was German, and he was living off of German Social Security, but in Thailand. And his statement was that German Social Security barely covers you in Germany. It's not enough money to really live that lavish of a lifestyle. It's probably a lot like America's Social Security, where it can provide a little bit, but you kind of need to have something else on top of that. And he took that and he went to Thailand, and he is living high on the hog in Thailand, just going out, eating. And we went to this restaurant that was right on the ocean. It was kind of on the pier. If you've been to a good ocean town, San Clemente in Southern California, San Diego, there's Monterey, there's some good pier restaurants where you're sitting right over the ocean. You can look out, if in the Pacific especially, you see the sunset, it's beautiful, and you can order drinks and food. It was a restaurant like that, and the waiters stood by our table. That's how fancy this place was. It cost me $11. I can't say that I've thought about moving to Thailand. I don't think I could do that. It's too much of a culture shift for me. I want to be in a place where, it kind of has a little bit of the American culture as a part of it. But if I was to take what I'm building here and the cash flow I get from real estate and all the investments I have, plus, the $20 of Social Security I'll be able to collect by the time we actually get there, because who knows what Social Security is going to look like in the next 30, 40 years. I'm not sure how awesome that would be in the long run. That's why I'm not really interested in going or moving there. But, so to answer Sarah's question, yes, I have thought about that. And I do think it's worth thinking about. If you're building a lot, moving into the future, once you retire, you're not really stuck to a particular location. And it might be worth looking at things like taxes, what that state charges for capital gains, because California has its own capital gains tax on top of the federal tax. And looking at all that information and picking some place where your money could go further and you could live a higher lifestyle without really damaging your retirement investments or, damaging your retirement plan overall. So I think that's worth looking at. I think everybody should look at that and try to see where it is they might end up someday. So in our case, and I don't really know about Sarah or how old Sarah is, but we're still so far away from that. I don't have a plan as to where it's going to be. And if my wife isn't down for Puerto Rico, it may be anywhere in the United States, depending on what that looks like 30 years from now. But that's so far in the future, it's hard to know for sure where we're going to end up. But when we get there, if we're still doing YouTube videos, we'll let you guys know where we end up, and it should be fun and exciting. So, Sarah, I hope that answers your question. Everybody else, thank you for coming. I super duper appreciate it. Make sure to check out joining and helping the channel out. The more people help out, the more we can spread this message of financial peace and financial independence to as many people as possible. And I'll see you guys next time.